everyone, it's Dayru. Today we are replacing an old toilet and I'm going to show you the secret to an amazing installation, and it all starts right here. To start things off, you want to make sure that your supply valve is off because we don't want to have any accidents. And then next, you're just going to flush the toilet. We want to get rid of all the water before we get started. So you're going to take a sponge. This will come in handy, and take the cover off of your tank. And I've got my bucket here again with me. And I'm just going to take the sponge, and then there's a little bit of water, as you can see, in the base of the toilet, just a little bit. And we're just going to saturate that sponge and then wring it out. So this is a really old toilet. It hasn't been used in a while, so it has a lot of calcium deposits. Don't judge me here. Everything on this channel is a fixer-upper. So everything needs work. So you're just gonna put your sponge in, get it saturated with water, and once it's completely empty, now we get to do the fun part. Now, if you take a look at the side of your toilet, you're gonna see two bolts that are anchoring your toilet to your floor. Now, typically, you're gonna use channel locks to undo this, but full disclosure here, these were actually really loose. So I'm just gonna back these out by hand. I'm just gonna take my channel locks again, and I'm gonna get in here and loosen up the supply line. I wanna take out the supply line here, so you're gonna need to get in there and loosen that up. Once it's loosened enough, you can just do the rest by hand. Once we've done all that, we're just gonna get to the fun part, which is actually removing the toilet. And I just like to position myself on either side of the toilet. You wanna get a good grip on here and just slightly move to the left and the right. That's just gonna very gently loosen up the wax ring that has the seal here. Get a good grip and lift up. Lift up with your knees and then waddle like a penguin or a duck. And then set your toilet aside. Super straightforward. Now we're gonna block that off so the sewer gases don't come up. We're gonna shove a rag in there. If you're like me and you wanna make things easier on yourself because you're taking this out by yourself, there's actually two bolts that are holding your tank to the toilet, and I'm just going to remove those. Undo that. This is gonna make it a lot easier for you to get your toilet out of the house in two pieces instead of one. You can just set those aside, and we're gonna lift up the tank. And this is great because it makes it, this is actually really light, but what I find is it just makes it easier for you to carry your toilet. It's less bulky and it's easier for you to maneuver. And you're just gonna lift it up. And honestly, this is not really heavy. So as you can see, we have our finished floor installed. It is tile, but now we have an issue with our toilet flange. If you take a look here, it is way too low. We need to raise it up. So if you are in this situation, you can get a toilet flange extension kit. I'm gonna show you how to use this to get the flange sitting above your finished floor height. Very important. So we have two rings that it comes with and two gaskets. I'm gonna use two today, but sometimes you can only use one if that's all you need. So I have an adhesive backing. I'm just gonna remove that and put it onto the back of our ring, and I'm just gonna center it there on the flange, on the ring. There we go. These are toilet bolts, and they're extra long because we need the extensions. I'm gonna put these in place. These are super small that come with the toilet, so you always wanna use the extension bolts that come with your extension kit. So we're gonna press that down. You want them to be centered up 6 inches apart, and they should be typically 12 inches from the back of your wall, from the drywall for this installation. Kit's gonna come with two plastic little washers. These are great. These are actually just designed to hold your bolts in place so they don't move around on you. So you can hear that pushing in. And I'm just actually gonna double check that these are 6 inches apart. That's good. And they're centered up. Once you have your first ring down, you can take the second ring. This is the thicker one. And again, the adhesive back is on it. I'm gonna center that up and put it on to the back of the ring. It actually comes in the package. And I'm gonna use that. Started here, go down there. So we have a bit of a problem here. I just put the screw in, but I noticed that it actually didn't bite into anything because there's a hole there. So sometimes this will happen and you'll just have to make your own hole. So I'm just actually gonna do it right there. There we go. From time to time that might happen. There was a hole there, so it didn't pull it tight. I need it tight, so I had to make my own hole. That's okay. clean that up. So we're just gonna take our washers now and put them over our T-bolts. And we have 2 nuts, so we're just gonna secure those both in place. And we're just gonna make them nice and secure. Now that we've gotten that all tight, we are ready for our toilet ring. So our toilet actually comes with a wax ring. This is very common. We're actually not going to be using this today. We are going with a reusable toilet seal. So we have to move quickly, and we're just doing this because you can reposition it. A lot of people like these. These are great too. Totally up to you what you use. We're just going to position that over top of your bolt. So depending on where your flange sits, it has a spacer here. We're going to use a spacer because our flange now is even with the floor because it got compressed. So we are ready to go with the install. I will link in the description for these two. I'm using the Fluid Master one today. Just going to use some painter's tape. And I'm just going to mark the center of the painter's tape where the bolt is. I'm just going to use that as a guide so we know exactly where the bolts are. So we line it up. It's easy peasy. Huge tip for you guys is to always replace your supply lines because sometimes this gets dried out and that is not good for your home. So we're just gonna make sure that we put our new supply lines on before we install our toilets. And I like to do this ahead of time while it's accessible. It's a lot easier. So once we have our toilets set into position, most of your toilets will come with some nuts. Ours is actually coming with this. So I'm actually gonna take this and move it to the back of my toilet because I have a little extra room. And if you take a look in there, I'm just gonna tighten this all the way down. And what you're looking for is your toilet to be nice and sturdy. You don't wanna have any movement, so it has to go down quite a bit. You don't wanna over tighten your nuts either because then you can actually crack the porcelain of your toilet. So you want it nice and solid, but not too solid that you cause any damage. Once you've tightened your nuts, you just wanna make sure that your toilet is nice and solid. You do not wanna have any movement at all in your toilet because that's actually gonna cause leaks and loosen your seal. It can't move. And if you do need some toilet shims, you can use toilet shims, never wood shims though for a toilet. Now we're gonna move on to our toilet seat. This has a nice soft close feature, so I'm just gonna put my washers in here just to protect the porcelain. Just lock it in place. Ooh, soft close. Always a nice feature, boom. Very important at this point is now to connect your supply line, which is right back here. And just follow the requirements of that. You wanna tighten that. Always just turn it on slowly. There you go, it's filling up. This is a nice dual flush system, which is always lovely to have. Lid on. We're just gonna press and do a test. Probably thinking, hey, are you gonna caulk your toilet? Absolutely not. If you're new to the channel, this floor actually completely was rotted out because the previous homeowner caulked the toilet and it hid a leak. So for that reason, I am not caulking it. Most toilet leaks are low and slow and persistent over time, and they don't actually go to the back of the toilet. That would be like a Niagara Falls situation. That doesn't happen all the time. So if you found this video helpful and you'd like to learn more about home improvement, please subscribe and hit the like button. Check out this video right here for more on our bathroom renovation.